Hello, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome to the Extraordinary Talk Show with your host, Della Hill. I'm so happy to see you again, or for you to see me and to be here with you. One more week. They keep letting me show up, and I'll keep doing it as long as they let me. Today, I want to start with you with a few quotes. Our topic today is finding your inner extraordinary. And that's really what this whole show is all about, is helping you recognize what you really have inside of you already. You might think that you don't. You might think that you aren't worth as much as the people around you. And I want to talk to you today about helping you recognize what you already have that's amazing inside of you. And we're going to start with a couple quotes, and then I'll probably try and circle back to these quotes when they become applicable as I'm talking. First of all is from the good witch Glinda. If you remember Dorothy, who followed the yellow brick road, at the very end of that movie, when Dorothy's trying to get back home, Glinda says to her, "You've always had the power, my dear. You've had it all along." Next quote. I couldn't find this actual quote. I searched for it. It's by Tony Robbins, but when the first time I heard it, I wrote it down because it sang to me. It made so much sense to me. So I'm paraphrasing right now, but Tony Robbins said, "Everything I need now or will ever need is already imbued inside of me." Also, Tony Robbins wrote a book called Awaken the Giant Within. And I'm talking about finding your inner extraordinary, pretty much the same thing. I'm not as smart as Tony Robbins. Well, I'm pretty smart, but he knows a lot of things that I don't know. So I'm going to give him a lot of credit. And part of the reason why I hold him where I do and say that I don't know as much as he does is because he's been working longer and harder to find his inner extraordinary than I have. It's not that I'm not as cool as he is. It's just that he's been working harder and longer on it than I have. I still have a ways to go to catch up to him. It's not that I'm not working on it. It's not that I don't have it. I do. So do you. I just haven't put in the time and effort that Tony Robbins has. Any of us could be as amazing or awesome in the same or different ways as Tony Robbins. He's just been working on it harder, a lot harder, and for longer than most of you and I have. Here's another one by Tony Robbins. Why live an ordinary life when you can live an extraordinary life? This is the Extraordinary Talk Show. I love that word. I actually have the word extraordinary tattooed on my foot. That word speaks to me because I recognize that there is something extraordinary inside of me and inside of you and inside every single person. And part of the purpose of this show is to help you recognize that for yourself and to help you find it, to help you bring it out and be the most amazing, extraordinary person that you can be. Again, why live an ordinary life when you can live an extraordinary life? I love that. The next quote is actually the one that we're going to be talking about the most for this show. And I got to tell you guys, I may have quoted this before because it is one of my favorite quotes. And I'll tell you why as we get going. This quote is often misattributed to Nelson Mandela because he used this quote in one of his speeches. However, it's actually by Marianne Williamson. And some of you already know exactly what quote I'm talking about because it's a reasonably popular quote. The first time I read it was about 10 years ago. And I'll tell you about that. But first, here's the quote. It's called Our Greatest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Okay, that's a long quote, so we're going to break it down. I'm going to go through that step by step with you. In fact, it took me years probably to break down this quote, because at first it was one line that struck out to me, and then a year or two later another line sang to my heart, and then later another line sang to my heart. So I'm going to just start at the beginning and tell you guys what this makes me think and what I want you to think, how I want you to maybe start pondering this for yourself. Because again, just because I say it doesn't make it so. I might say this is an amazing quote, but if it doesn't apply to you, if you can't truly find how it does, and if you can't find how to make that work in your life, what's the point? So the first 3 lines I'm going to read again. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Okay, to be fair, the first time I ever read that, I was like, what the heck does that mean? Why would anyone be afraid of being powerful? Why would anyone be afraid of their own light? And then as I pondered that, I gained some understanding. For one thing, if you're going to acknowledge that you have that power and light within you, you then take on the responsibility of doing something about it. And it's so much easier to ignore it than to act on it. It's so easy to be inadequate. Look around the world. Pretty much anybody can be inadequate. If you want, anybody that chooses to be inadequate can be inadequate. And that's easy. In fact, it's so common that it's basically accepted. You know people that aren't even trying to find their inner extraordinary, have given up on believing that it's there. And it's easier for them to just accept being inadequate than actually take the personal responsibility, the time, the effort to bring out the light that is within them. And it's easy to do that. We also live in this fear of, okay, maybe I do have this light. Maybe I do have this amazing, extraordinary something inside me. But what if I decide to let it out and it's not as cool as I think it is? Or if I bring it out and other people criticize me? What if I try to rise up and be better than I currently am and other people think that I'm a faker or a wannabe? And so we hide. We hide from our own light because we are afraid of what might happen if we let it shine. And my friends, that takes us back to the same old quote. Fear kills more dreams than failure ever does. There are so many challenges that we are afraid to take on because it's easier not to. Because if we take it on, there's a chance we could fail. And it's easier to sit right here where we are right now, never growing, never moving, than to take that challenge and not have it work out and then have to face that failure. And if you have ever tried anything new, you've probably failed. I've done it. I've had some pretty big failures. And it's tough. It's hard. But what if I hadn't? What if I hadn't tried? Where would I be now if I hadn't even tried? If I hadn't even started? If I hadn't made the effort? I would never know. Now I can look back at those things and say, okay, that was a mistake. I probably shouldn't do that thing again. Or it was a really good idea that went faulty along the way. If I do that again, there's some things I have to fix. But if I fix those things, I bet I can make it pretty awesome. And there's also the chance that you find that inner light, your inner extraordinary, and you grow and you end up being amazing. But the fear of getting there is what stops us from trying. So next, the next few lines of this poem are truly my favorites. And I remember the day that I first saw this poem. And it's possible I'd seen it before and it just hadn't gotten to me. But it was about 10 years ago, back when blogs were popular. Do you guys remember that? And I was reading blogs and I clicked to a new one. And this quote was across the top. And I caught my breath and I read it again. And I read it again. And I read it again. And I am a different person since that day. I'm not kidding. Maybe you guys are like me. I hope that you are in this way, and I hope that you're exactly like yourselves in many other ways. I wondered if I was special. Ever since I was a little kid, I had these little hints and glimmers that I thought might be pretty cool about myself. Things that my mom and dad pointed out, things that teachers would sometimes point out, and I'd go, oh, yeah, maybe I am good at that. Maybe I am cool in that way. But I never really trusted. I didn't really jump into it. I didn't embrace it. And partly was because I wasn't sure that it was really there. And as I became an adult and had real friendships outside of my family, I found that I gravitated to people that recognized the light inside of me. Some of my very best friends and the people that I have spent the most time in my life with are the ones who recognize something special inside of me. And if the people that you spend your time with aren't recognizing something special about you, maybe you need to find some other people to spend time with, because I guarantee it's there. So after a while, I spent enough time with these people that they were telling me and reassuring me, sometimes words, sometimes actions, that there really was something kind of cool about me. It doesn't mean I was better than anybody else. It just meant that I was starting to see my own talents, my own skills. I was starting to wake up just a little bit to what I really had to offer myself, and then other people too. But I was uncomfortable with it. I'm sorry, my face is itchy. So I was uncomfortable with embracing that. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what I was afraid of, what I was uncomfortable with, or why, and why I wasn't moving forward with it until I read this. Because this says, we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Whoa! When I read that, that blew my mind, because I had this idea in my mind that maybe, just maybe, I was brilliant, and just maybe I was talented, and just maybe I could be gorgeous, and just maybe there was something about me that was fabulous. But I was afraid to try to find it. I was afraid that maybe if I dug in there, that the glimmers of hope that I was seeing, that those things were there, I was gonna find fool's gold, and it wasn't really gonna be there. And I wondered, what if I was awesome? Would that scare off the people around me? If I let my light really shine, would it be blinding to the people that I loved? And would they turn away from me because my light was too bright? I wondered that. And I wondered, why me? What's special about me? Why should I get to have these things? Why should I get to be awesome? Why should I get to be extraordinary? Actually, why not? Tell me why not. Tell me what I'm missing, what I don't have. Tell me what I have that's stopping me from being extraordinary. If you tell me those things, I'll listen, I'll try to listen, and I will try to fix them. But the thing is, those things can be fixed. All of the things inside me that are extraordinary, that want to come out, can, and there is no reason why they can't. And whether you believe in God or whether you don't believe in God, this statement is true. I'm going to read it again. We ask ourselves, Who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. And if you don't believe in God, you can cut that last line off and it is still so powerful. And if you do believe in God, and I do, and if you do believe that you're a child of God, and I do, then why in the world wouldn't I have these innate things built inside of me from the moment I took my first breath? Because if God sent me to this earth, he sent me to do things, to serve, to help people, to be extraordinary, to have an extraordinary life, and to help other people have an extraordinary life. And he sent me with every resource I would ever need. And some of that is family and friends and support and education. But most of it, when you go back to the ingredients of the recipe, God made me and God made you exactly as we needed to be to accomplish everything we will ever need to accomplish. You were born with it. Just like Tony Robbins said, everything I need is already imbued within me. All of the courage, all of the strength, all of the energy and motivation you have within you right now. And the things that you do not have within you, you have resources to gain. There is no reason why you cannot access the skills and abilities and talents that God built you with. It's like owning a home and never using the plumbing. And how much different would that be? Imagine the difference between a home with no plumbing and a home with plumbing, hot water, showers, dishwasher, toilets, all the things that we love. Imagine if you had all those things in your house right now and never used them. That's how we are when we don't use the gifts that we were built with. Our inner extraordinary, it's there. And if you're like me and you've ever wondered if it is, I'm telling you, it is. Maybe you haven't found it. Maybe you haven't learned about it. But I'm telling you, it's there. And it's on us to build it, to develop it, to grow it. You don't have to create it. You don't have to create this new extraordinary thing inside you. It's already there. All you have to do is allow it. Allow it to grow. Don't shove it back down because you're afraid of people seeing you being brave. Don't shove it back down because you're afraid that your friends won't like you as much if you embrace these skills and talents and make yourself better. Because it doesn't make you better than them. It makes you better than the you that you used to be. And I'll get to that part in a second. The next few lines, I also love so much. I think the last few lines were the ones that really caught me. And those lines gave me permission to be amazing, gave me permission to look inside myself for those skills and abilities, for that light, that inner light that I'd been hiding before. And to tell you the truth, I'm still not at full power because I'm still growing just like you. I'm not Tony Robbins yet. In fact, if Tony Robbins were here, he would probably laugh and name somebody else that he is aspiring to be like. It's not a competition. It's not a race, guys. Accept yourself where you're at and start there. That's the first step. Don't compare yourself. Don't say, well, I'm never going to be like Tony Robbins. I'm never going to be like Vishen Lakhiani. I can't ever be that cool. How do you know unless you try? Challenge. All you have to do is be better than you were yesterday. Be brighter, be stronger, be more authentic. This is about being authentic. This is about recognizing your true passions, your true joys, the true things that you have to share with the world around you and starting to share them. That's authenticity, guys. And when you are authentic, you will find joy and fulfillment that you have never found before. And that I can speak from experience. So the next lines. Oh, I love these two. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. I love that so much. Here again is permission. If you're worried about being bigger, because what if you let your light shine and it scares the people around you? Are those people that you want to be with? People that would hold you back, that would keep you small and keep you dim? Are those people that you want in your life? And here's what you're going to find as you grow, as you find your inner extraordinary, as you push yourself, as you fuel that fire within, you're going to find that you vibrate higher. We talked about vibration before. We have vibrational energy in our bodies. And we're talking about light, the light of inside of us, and light vibrates. And as you grow your light, you vibrate higher. And people around you tend to vibrate on the same type of level that you do, which means that if you increase your vibration, those people are either going to be uncomfortable and move aside, or they are going to raise their vibration in order to stay with you. Anyone that tries to hold you back, to dim your light, is someone you should not have close to you. You can still love them. They can even still be in your life, but you have to have boundaries with those people because they're not going to help you. And what you often find, it's a funny truth that many people find when they're truly trying to raise their vibration, truly trying to be better people, be stronger people, let their light shine. The people around them that don't match that anymore, on Facebook we call it when the trash takes itself out, because those people will move away. When you become uncomfortable for them because you are glowing and shining and serving and being and doing, and they can't match that, they'll step aside and let you move on to find the people that can help you continue to grow. And sometimes, more often than you think, instead of being scared, those people will look at you. Those people will see how you're growing. They'll see how you're finding your inner extraordinary, and it will inspire them to do the same thing. It will inspire them to find their light. And that is the next few lines that says, it's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And that means that when you make yourself better, you're not making yourself better than that guy. You're making yourself better than you used to be. Because that guy, he has his own light, his own skills, talents, and abilities, his own God-given gifts that he can build on, that he can grow. And if he does that and you build yours, you're both going to grow fantastically. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be the same, because your skills and abilities are going to be very, very different than his skills and abilities. But it means that you're both growing, you're moving forward. And as you're able to do that, you're sharing more with the world. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Again, Marianne Williamson. Because when other people see you do this, they are facing their own fear. And when they see you face your fear and rise above, it will give them courage. It will give them permission to do the same thing. And here I want to share one other quote that I have, maybe two if I have time. This is from Steve Jobs and the Think Different campaign that Apple did in the 90s. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them, or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. My friends, that is all the time I have for you today. Please look for your own light. Please recognize that it's there and give yourself permission to let it shine. I love you. Have a wonderful, amazing, extraordinary week, and I'll see you again next Monday. Hi, this is Della with the Extraordinary Talk Show. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and check out some more of the amazing videos that we have to share with you.